Hello everyone and welcome back, and I'm here with Nancy Gabriel, who is my guest co-host today because Missy is out at the beach.
And because I have blonde hair.
And because she has blonde hair. And she is celebrating her birthday. It's her birthday month. We have already talked about this. We milk it for all it's worth. So
we were instructed to milk
it. Yeah. So right now I would like to say that we have an awesome guest, which is Rob Sealander, and he has such a passion for what it is that he does, and I want him to share that with you. And Nancy's going to be asking him a lot of the questions because she has known him for a while and she knows just the right questions to ask.
And I'm going to embarrass
Excellent.
you. No, I'm not. Welcome.
Thanks.
It's a delight to sit next to you.
You as well.
And I want to hear about your book.
About my book. Okay, well, first off, I'm a different shade of blonde than you guys.
You
so
are.
we're living
That's
after
fine.
50 Shades of Blonde.
That's
so
fine.
The book is Marketing Plan Today, and it was primarily authored by my business partner, and I adapted it into English. And it's really about taking the mystique and the sort of intimidation of marketing away for new businesses. Mm-hmm. We all need marketing, and for a really long time, marketing was sort of this big idea that required learning basically a different language, and us marketers like to keep people in the dark about that. We kept it to ourselves. So this book is really about demystifying that, and what makes it, I think, really unique is that it's really about doing your marketing plan in about an hour, and the book itself only takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to read. Oh. And it really takes the whole marketing process and cuts it down into 6 digestible questions. So instead of looking at a blank canvas and saying, okay, where do I start? We look at who's your target audience, but really defining your target audience, and we go with 4 of them.
And who's your target audience?
Right.
My target audience are, I have 4 of them. One of them are people who are really starting out in business, have no idea, they have their passion, whether it's baking cookies or social media marketing or whatever it happens to be, they have their passion, but they don't really understand maybe the business side of things, or maybe they don't want to understand the business side of things, right? A lot of people, especially in the creative space, they want to make really cool stuff. They want to make jewelry. They want to take pictures. They don't want to worry about their accounting. They don't want to worry about having their taxes filed.
They have a shoebox for their receipts.
That was me in my first job, which is another reason I'm passionate about this, because I was that person. I did not have a marketing plan or a business plan. My receipts went in the box. The letters from the IRS went into a drawer. Well, because I thought I'm just a little person. I didn't owe any taxes, but you still have to file, right, even if there's a bunch of zeros. And so a lot of what I help people with are lessons that I actually learned. So they're the walls I run into.
And so because you can relate to them, you can explain it in a way that's not intimidating or overwhelming.
Exactly. But I also understand it from a point of I have been there and done that.
Exactly.
It's not something, right, I didn't get it out of a book or watch a YouTube video.
And I'm not going to judge you.
Right, exactly. Because
I'm going to help you.
I just admitted I put my own tax envelopes. And I was living in the Netherlands, and so they came in an envelope that was like this really unique shade of blue. So when you had a stack of mail, you're like, tax envelope. And still, so it wasn't like I kind of missed it. I purposely took out the blue envelopes and put them in a drawer because I thought I'll deal with it later. But then later never came around.
Right.
Wow.
Until all of a sudden, I got the big letter and the knock at the door. And then it was panic, and I ended up having to close that business, restart a new one. And I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Well, and that's important in anything, is to know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
But you said something I want to circle back to, and that is you were living in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Where else have you lived?
Well, I've lived all over the U.S. I grew up with a military father, so I lived all over the place. Overseas, I was living in New York, then I moved to the Netherlands, lived there for 14 years, then spent 3.5 years in New Delhi, in India, working in advertising. I then went to Istanbul for just over a year, and then after that to Tanzania, which is really awesome. I was there for about 8-9 months.
And then what brought you to Las Vegas? That seems so tame.
Yeah.
It's different. I came back to the U.S. was supposed to be for a 2-month vacation. and then go off to Brazil, work on the Football World Cup. You're a big sports fan, so you'll appreciate
Wow.
it. And the Olympics. And there was an issue with the visa. And then as I started exploring it a little bit more and getting those issues worked out, there were some questions with the company that I was supposed to contract with, and decided to stay here. And that was in California. The here was in California. And then due to a broken ankle and a roommate situation gone, as roommate situations do, not very well.
That's before you knew a mediator.
That's true. I did not know of your services yet.
So then what happened?
So then because I had a broken ankle, I couldn't drive. And my sister lived here, so I came out to stay with her.
Ah.
And then I was actually going to leave the country again. I decided that Panama was my new
Yeah,
destination, because I've lived on 4 continents, but I haven't yet made it to Central South America. And things just started working out. I started making friends and having a life. And honestly, Vegas is the last place I ever imagined myself. But it's really the place where everything seems to really be coming together. And
I can relate to
think
that.
that's great.
That's how I felt. I would have never thought I would live here.
Well,
why
I'm not
my-
a gambler and I'm not
Yeah,
a big
right.
drinker. So
I'm not
basically, the
either.
Vegas part of Vegas
Yeah.
is lost on me, with the exception of maybe 3 to 4 hours a year when I might do a show because somebody's in town. I'll
Right.
put $20 in a slot machine.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
That's as Vegas-y as I get.
But you both are reasons why my mother always said never say never.
That's right.
And I did
That's
used to say
totally
never, because
right.
my sister would live here and I'm like, I could never live
Never
in Vegas.
say it.
But to that, I only knew of the Strip, and I thought I could. So really, could never live in Vegas was more about I could never live on the Strip, which is true. You couldn't
Right.
pay me to live
Right.
on the Strip.
Right.
But living in Vegas has actually been amazing. I mean, I've met the two of you,
We're
and
glad
we've
you're
become good
here.
friends,
We're
and
glad you're here.
have been able to
Exactly,
accomplish a
yes.
lot. It's great.
Right, right. So back to your book
Yes.
and back to your marketing business. What's an ideal client for you? I know you said pretty much anybody,
Mhm.
but
Well-
how can we help you?
And that's my pet peeve whenever people say everybody's my client. So it's really for businesses, brand new businesses, people starting up that really are maybe struggling through and not sure what they want to do, or people that have actually made the mistakes, right? They've taken their employees, they've 1099 them, and now they're in a situation, or they want to take their business to the next level. So it's really people that are looking for the focus, looking for the guidance. I'm not the person who's going to take your $500,000 business, to
Right.
a $2 million business. That's not the niche I want to be in. It's really about the smaller businesses with a budget that, really just want to be a little bit more successful, find more revenue streams, make a bigger difference.
And I love
build
the
towards their
word
legacy.
focus that you use. So many
Right.
people, including myself, don't have it or didn't have it at 1st. And helping people focus is, setting some goals and all.
Yes,
Pretty
it is.
key.
Well,
And it's
because
keeping
it's
everything
overwhelming.
realistic.
Yeah.
It is
It's
because
very overwhelming.
there's
when
a
you
ton
first
to do.
start out. Yeah.
I think it's more overwhelming starting a business than having a child. Because having a child,
relate
basically
to
the child
that.
shows up and you just go with it.
Yeah.
But owning a business, if you don't file certain
Right.
papers, if you don't do this, you can end up in jail. You can end up losing your house and your
Right.
car,
Consequences.
your reputation. You mess up with your children, they go on Oprah, they write a book and they're rich. You mess up your business.
Yeah,
it's
that's
and we
right.
see it happen. We see it happen even with people like Annie Leibovitz and Willie Nelson. They make these mistakes and they lose the rights to their music and the rights
I
to their
know, it's so
photography.
sad.
And it's really sad. And these are people that are making, millions of dollars a year.
Mega talented, yeah.
Absolutely. But again, they want to focus on their passion. They're not, I don't want to say they don't care about taxes, but they don't care about taxes. They just want to
Right.
do what they do.
Right.
As
and-
I want to do what I do. So I actually outsource some of that. If I
Sure.
can.
It's the I know people who know people who know people.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And that's really
and
what
if
a lot
you
of it's
focus
about.
on what you're best at
Right.
and let other people do what they're best
Exactly.
at for
Exactly.
you,
Like if I
totally
needed to meet,
agree.
if I had a business disagreement and I needed mediation, I'm not going to attempt it. Even though you've given me some tips, I'm going to contact somebody like you who can actually do that for me.
well, how can our viewers contact somebody like you?
Well,
Right.
I would say the best place is probably by email because I don't always answer my phone, and that address is robb, ROBB, at rrs2.com.
And RRS2 are your initials.
They're my initials, Robert Reeves Sealander II.
Got it. Rob,
yeah.
ROBB at RRS2.com.
Or you
That
can
was easy to
find me on
remember.
Facebook and connect me through Messenger. That's also great.
Good.
Thank you so much for being
Thanks for
a
having me. This
guest.
is
We're
really
so
exciting. I
happy
love
that
this.
You came on.
Goes
Thank
by
you.
fast, doesn't it?
It does. It's
Very
amazing.
fast.
Yes, yes.
And I just want to say that our next guest is Jody Zanevsky, and she is with Swarovski Touchstone Crystal.
That
And
was a mouthful.
that was a
And she's a
mouthful.
different shade of blonde as well.
And she's a different shade of blonde. So
is.
It's like,
please
oh, blonde's
come
going
on
today.
back, because she's got a lot of great information, and you'll see I'm wearing a lot of her things.
See you in a few.
See you in a few.
Right.